I didn't see the episode, but let me just tell you, Laura, that there has to be indictments. There have to be people that are held accountable for what they did to this country. Never mind to each of us, right? People like me, my family, Trump, his family, and many, many others who were families that were destroyed. So I do think that there's going to be some discussion about whether or not to go after Barack Obama as a president. I'm not going to get into that constitutional debate, but people like John Brennan, Jim Comey, Jim Clapper, Susan Rice, and many others, I do think that we're also going to see with what Ed Martin is doing, people like Fani Willis, who is the district attorney in Georgia, the attorney general in New York. I think that people like Jack Smith, who did the Mar-a-Lago raid and was the quote unquote special counsel against President Trump, I think we're going to see indictments of those individuals. There are grand juries already in place that I'm aware of, and one is in Florida, one is in, I believe, is in Washington, D.C., another is in New York, and there's a potential one in Pennsylvania. And I think the one in Pennsylvania may be for what I believe is going to be an even bigger bomb that's going to come out here, and that has to do with the 2020 election. So if people look at Russiagate as the attempted coup, the actual coup was 2020 election. And they did it. They effected a coup against the country. And they put a person in place who we now know was essentially brain dead. And I'm being a little bit facetious, but he clearly had mental health problems.
Yes.
So there is going to be accountability for sure on some of those names that I mentioned. And I think that if there isn't accountability, which I seriously doubt, but if there isn't, for some reason these people are able to walk away from all this, then our country is gone. No matter what President Trump does, he must hold these people accountable. And in some cases, Lara, they can be held accountable for national security reasons, not just reasons that are conspiracy or fraud or racketeering or things like that we typically hear about, but for purposes of national security and undermining a duly elected president, which is very clear.